Guns in America, The Right to Bear Arms, Reading 3 from Academic Encounters 2, American Studies. If you look on the Preparing to Read page, which is page 40, you will see a set of 5 questions that predict what you're going to read about in this chapter. The answers to these questions will be found in this reading. So look at the questions first before you begin to read. The Second Amendment may be the most controversial amendment in the Bill of Rights. To understand it, we must go back in history. The early Americans had more difficult and dangerous lives than most of us have today. They had to hunt for food and protect themselves from wild animals. There were no police to protect them, so they needed guns for their own defense. There were also conflicts between the settlers and the British Army. Because of these dangers, each colony maintained its own army of citizens called a militia to protect its residents. The men who wrote the Constitution wanted to be sure that Americans would always be able to protect themselves in this way, so they included the Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights. Unfortunately, the meaning of the amendment is not clear, and people interpret it in different ways. This is a paraphrase of what it says. The government should not interfere with the people's right to keep and carry guns because a militia is important for security. Because the wording is not clear, there are 2 possible, very different interpretations. The first one is narrow, and the second one is broad. Communities should be permitted to maintain militias, and these militias should carry guns. Today, militias would be the police or the military. 2. Anyone should be able to own and carry guns. The government must not interfere with this right. The majority of the American population believes that the second interpretation is correct. Between 70 and 80 million Americans own a gun. There are about 300 million firearms in U.S. homes. Laws about owning guns are not the same everywhere. Some states and cities allow people to keep a gun in their homes. Others also allow people to carry guns in public places, such as in the street or in a store. Some communities permit some types of guns, but prohibit other types. Gun ownership is an emotional issue in the United States. Some people believe that gun ownership is a fundamental right. Others believe that only the police and the military should carry guns. Every time someone with a gun kills a lot of people, there is public discussion about this issue. In 2012, when a young man in Colorado shot and killed 12 people and wounded 58 others in a crowded movie theater, supporters of gun control argued for laws against gun ownership. However, people opposed to gun control reply that if other people in the theater were carrying guns, they could have stopped the young man. People on both sides of this issue offer arguments for their views. So you see the argument on the left is against gun control, and the argument on the right for gun control. This is not the political left and the political right, but what you see as left and right. Be careful. Those against gun control believe a gun ban will not prevent criminals from getting guns. They also believe citizens should be allowed to own guns for their own protection. They believe guns can prevent crimes and save lives. They also believe guns should be used for hunting. and gun ownership is guaranteed by the Constitution. The list on the right for gun control. Those for gun control believe guns are a major cause of violence and death. There is a clear relationship between widespread gun ownership and gun violence. They believe guns are used by criminals. They believe guns often contribute to accidents. And finally, guns can be used against their owners. So you see we have the pros on the left, those against gun control on the left, and those for gun control on the right. So on the right we have the pros, gun control, and on the left we have the cons, gun control. Pro means, of course, for, and con means against. So we will be talking about this chapter.